Section 2.2, the Ohm's Law. Ohm's Law is the most important law in electronics. Before talking about the Ohm's Law, how about let's draw the simplest circuit. Let's begin the circuit with a voltage source. There are two vertical lines. The longer line represents the positive terminal, and the short but thicker line represents the negative terminal. Let's give a name for this voltage source. We call it Vs, where S stands for source. And then we're going to draw the wires. We draw a horizontal wire, and then it turns vertical, turn again, and then we draw a resistor here. Give a name of this resistor, let's call it R, and then we're going to complete this circuitry. A line turns, vertical line, and then we close this loop. Let's also label the electric current. I draw the current on this side, a up arrow, and let's call it I. We use the conventional current throughout this course. For the conventional current, its direction is always from the positive terminal to the negative terminal. Let's draw two vertical lines here. The voltage between this line is the voltage across the resistor. We want to know how much voltage V drops on this resistor R. And this is the Ohm's law. The voltage drops on this resistor equals to the current passing through the resistor times the resistance. We can say the total voltage drops on the resistor depends on how much current passing through it and also the resistance. This is the Ohm's law formula. I call it the primary formula. From this formula, we can rearrange it and get two more forms. Let me erase this circuit. We're gonna derive the primary formula and get the other two forms. From the Ohm's law formula, we know V equals to I times R. If we divide R on both sides of the equation, the right-hand side of the equation, that R and the denominator R cancel out. On the left-hand side of the equation is V over R. So the equation becomes V over R equals to I. And how about let's flip this equation. We interchange the left and the right side of the equation. At the end, the equation becomes I equals to V over R. This is the second formula. So for this formula, if we know the voltage V, we know the resistance R, we can find the current I. Let's put this formula up here, and we're gonna get the third formula. Let's write down the Ohm's law's primary formula again. V equals to I times R. This time, we're going to divide I on both sides of the equation. On the right-hand side of the equation, the I and the denominator I cancel out, so only R left. On the left-hand side of the equation, it becomes V over I. So V over I equals to R. If we flip this equation, by interchanging the two sides of the equation, it becomes R equals to V over I. This is the third Ohm's law formula. For this formula, if we know the voltage V and the current I, we can figure out the resistance R. So these are the three Ohm's law formula. In my opinion, I just remember the first one, the primary formula. When I get a question and I need to solve the unknown quantities, I just use this formula and then substitute those given information, apply algebra, the math, to figure out the unknown quantity. However, if you can remember the other two Ohm's law formulas, that can speed up the process for solving the problems. Here, we have a graphical tool that can help us to remember these formulas. It's called the Ohm's law triangle. As you can see, on the top of this triangle, the pyramid is the voltage V. V must be on the top. The base of the triangle has current I and a resistor R. So the way to use this triangle is, for example, we don't know voltage V, and then if you look at the base of the triangle, it's just I and R, right? I times R. For another case, if we don't know I, we can use V and R to find it. Based on the location of these pieces of the puzzle, V is on the top, R is in the bottom. V is the numerator and R is the denominator. So current I equals to V over R. For the last case, if we want to find the resistance R, the formula is V divided by I. And that formula has the same shape of these pieces of puzzles. V on the top is the numerator and I in the bottom is the denominator. This is session 2.2.